Hi class, good day! So for today, we're going to talk about differentiation. So ano nga ba yung tinatawag natin na differentiation? But don't worry kasi ang tuturo ko sa inyo is yung mga techniques, okay, ng differentiation para kung ano yung mas mabilis or mas madaling paraan para makuha natin yung derivatives, alright? But before that, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, kindly click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified on our next lesson. Pero bago ang lahat, alamin muna natin yung mga different notations. Alright? So, sa functions, examples ng notations sa functions are f of x or g of x at marami pa. Okay? Kapag sa derivatives naman, yung mga notations natin f prime of x, f prime, y prime, dy dx or ddx. So, pare-parehas lang ang mga ito. So, it's either sa kanila kung alin yung gagamitin ninyo. Ibig sabihin nito na yung functions na gagamitan ninyo or paggagamitan ninyo, siya yung derivative ng function. Alright? Ano nga ba yung derivatives? Yung derivative, it is the rate of change of a function with respect to another variable. So, it's yung pagbabago sa function. Okay? So, it's an instantaneous rate. Okay? At yung process or method of getting the derivative, siya yung tinatawag nating differentiation. Alright? So, yung derivative of a function, pwede natin siya makuha gamit yung limit process. So, this is f prime of x is equal to the limit f times the quantity of x plus h minus f of x all over h as h approaches to 0. Pero, if we're going to use this one, mas complicated siya compared sa techniques na ituturo ko sa inyo, right? So, ngayon, tuturo ko sa inyo yung mga iba't ibang rules ng differentiations or yun yung mga techniques para mas madali natin makuha yung derivatives, alright? So, for example na lang, ito yung f of x, itong function na ito, f of x is equal to 1, yung derivatives niya is f prime of x is equal to 0. So, another example naman, we have f of x is equal to x plus 1. So, yung derivative ng function na ito is f prime of x is equal to 1. Alright? So, another one, meron tayong function na x squared plus 2x plus 1. So, ang derivative niya is 2x plus 2. So, bakit? Bakit ganun agad? Nalaman agad natin na ganun pala yung derivative niya. Simple lang. Because of differentiation rules, we can immediately find the derivatives of the given functions. Alright? So for today, we're going to discuss the constant rule, the power rule, the identity, and the constant multiple rule. Okay? So sila muna yung i-discuss natin sa video na ito. Alright? Then the rest will be discussed on the following videos. Alright? So let's start with the constant rule. Okay? So simple lang siya. If c is any constant and y is equal to f of x is equal to c, then dy dx is equal to d dx, c is equal to f prime of x is equal to 0. Or simple lang, gaya sabi ko kanina, itong mga ito ay parehong derivative notation. Alright? So, kahit ano sa kanila yung gamitin ninyo, ayan, ibig sabihin nun, derivative siya ng function na yan. Okay? So, nakita tayong mga ganito, ibig sabihin nun, derivative siya ng function. Alright? So, sa constant rule, sabi dito, kahit anong constant or number, ang kanyang derivative ay laging equal to 0. So, again, any constant, okay, sa constant rule, any constant is equal to 0. Right? For example, we have f of x is equal to 1. So, ito yung kanina. So, pakita natin, according sa constant rule, kahit anong constant daw, laging equal to 0. So, therefore, yung derivative ng f of x is equal to 1 is equal to 0. Okay? So, f prime of x is equal to 0. Or if you want to use dy dx is equal to 0, okay lang. Okay? Another one is f of x is equal to 100. So again, si 100 ay constant siya, so yung derivative niya is equal to 0. Alright? So last one is we have y is equal to 3. So si 3 ay constant, kaya yung derivative niya is equal to 0. Alright? So again, kahit anong constant or any constant ay laging equal to 0. So, let's move on to the power rule. Okay? So, power rule, if y is equal to x raised to n is the power function for some positive integer n, then dy dx is equal to nx raised to n minus 1. So, n here, this is the power. So, ibig sabihin lang nun, dito sa power rule, para makuha natin yung derivatives, all we have to do is to bring down the power or exponent to the coefficient, then reduce power by 1. So for example, we have f of x is equal to x raised to the 5th power. So yung exponent natin is 5. Sabi, bring down the powers. So ibababa natin yung power dito sa tabi ni x. So magiging 5x, and then i-reduce natin yung power ng 1. So we have 5 minus 1. Okay, so yung exponent natin, i-reduce natin ng 1. Okay, so to simplify, we have 5x raised to the 4th power. So that is the derivative of x raised to the 5th power. Right? So another example, we have y is equal to x raised to the 12th power. So, yung derivative niya, bring down natin si 12. So, we have 12x. Then, reduce natin ang exponent ng 1. So, magiging 12x raised to 11th power. So, again, the derivative of y is equal to x raised to the 12th power is dy dx is equal to 12x raised to 11th power. So, again, dito sa power rule, all we have to do is to bring down the power to the coefficient and then reduce by 1. Okay? So, tandaan nyo, because darating tayo na pagsama-samahin natin yung mga constant rule, power rule, and other rules. Alright? So, next one is we have the identity rule. Okay, so identity rule, if y is equal to x, where x is differentiable function, then dy dx is equal to 1. Alright, so dito, we have the variable, but our variable has a degree of 1. Ibig sabihin, yung exponent ng ating variable is only 1. So, kapag ganun nangyari, so always, tandaan nyo, yung derivative niya is always 1. Alright, so we have first example, y is equal to x, so the derivative of y is equal to x is 1. Since si x here is 1 yung degree niya, okay? Sabihin nyo, ma'am, so may power rule siya, pwede rin. But if we're going to bring down the 1 here, then x raised to 0, so that is 1. So 1 times 1 is equal to 1, so 1 pa rin. Simply, tandaan, if y is equal to x, where x is differentiable function, then yung degree niya is only 1. So always, yung derivative niya is 1 lamang. Okay? So here, for our second example, we have y is equal to x plus 1. Alright? So here, sinamahan natin ng constant. And then ito, this one, okay, so from identity rule, sabi, if x is differentiable function, then may degree siya ng 1 that is always equal to 1. So therefore, we have dy dx is equal to 1 from x. And since this is constant, so any constant, yung derivative niya is 0. Okay, so 1 plus 0 is 1. So therefore, yung derivative ng x plus 1 is 1. Okay? So, yun yung identity rule. Right? So, for the last rule, sa video na ito, constant multiple rule. So, if c is a constant and f of x is a differentiable function, then d dx is equal to c times f of x is equal to c d dx times f of x. So, ibig sabihin nun, dito sa constant multiple rule, ayan, i-multiply natin yung power sa coefficient. Okay? And then, reduce again tayo ng 1 doon sa power. So, for example, we have f of x is equal to 8x raised to the 6th power. Ibig sabihin dito kay constant multiple rule, so all we have to do is to bring down the power again. So, parang sa power rule lang din siya. Ang kaibahan nun is yung multiply na natin dito. Okay? So, we have here f of x is equal to 8 times 6. So, all we have to do first is i-bring down natin si 6 or yung power. Ayan. Tapos, i-multiply natin siya dito sa isang constant. Okay? Then, isusubtract natin ng 1 yung ating exponent. So, 8 times 6, that is 48. X, 6 minus 1 is 5. So, therefore, yung derivative ng function na ito is 48x raised to the 5th power. Right? Another example is y is equal to 22x raised to the 4th power. So again, bring down natin yung power and multiply natin get 22 and then let's reduce 1 dito sa kanyang exponent. So we have 22 times 4 x raised to the 4th power minus 1. So 22 times 4, that is 88. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Therefore, the derivative of y is equal to 22x raised to the 4th power is equal to 88x cubed. Right? So another example for constant multiple rule, we have y is equal to 4x raised to the negative 3 power. So bring down natin yung power or exponent. So we have 4 times negative 3. So this is from the exponent. Okay, then subtract natin si negative 3 ng 1. Okay, so 4 times negative 3, that is negative 12. And negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Alright? So, yung derivative natin, 4x minus 3 is equal to negative 12x raised to the negative 4. Bakit naging negative 4? So, apply nyo yung subtraction of integers. Alright? So, to sum it up, si constant rule, yung derivative of a constant is always 0. Then, sa power rule, all you have to do is to bring down the power or exponent to the coefficient, then reduce power by 1. And sa identity rule, identity of a function on the first degree is always equal to 1. Right? Always equal to 1. Then, for the constant multiple rule, so bring down the power or exponent and multiply it with the coefficient and reduce the power by 1. Alright, so that's all for today, class. Don't forget to do a thumbs up, share, click subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified on our next lesson. Thank you.